Well, we can give you pretty clear feedback about whether you understood what the burden of proof was. In this case, the burden of proof was wholly on the prosecution. This means that it's up to the prosecution to prove that the defendant is guilty by presenting evidence that shows that it was the defendant who committed the crime and that the defendant meant to cause serious harm or death to the victim. The correct interpretation of this direction recognises that the defendant does not have to prove that he is innocent, so the defendant does not have to provide any evidence at all. It is completely up to the prosecution to make the case. However, giving you a clear explanation of the standard of proof, and so feedback on whether you understood it or not, is a bit trickier. There's often no agreed definition of what beyond reasonable doubt means in many jurisdictions. In some jurisdictions, this is defined as meaning that you are sure that the defendant is guilty, or you are sure that there is no other plausible or reasonable explanation for the evidence presented in the case. In other jurisdictions, it's simply defined as just meaning that you have no doubt that is reasonable, which is a circular definition. One misconception that our research has identified, however, is that beyond reasonable doubt means that you have no doubt at all. This is not actually the case. A correct interpretation of beyond reasonable doubt can mean that you have some doubt about the defendant's guilt, but that doubt just can't be reasonable or perhaps sensible doubt. In Queensland at least, it has been suggested that beyond reasonable doubt can be clarified by making it clear to jurors that it doesn't mean no doubts at all. So how did you go with your explanations of these two instructions? Did you get them both correct? And were your feelings about whether you got them correct in line with whether you actually got them correct? We'll return shortly to consider whether people's perceptions of their understanding of such instructions matches their actual level of understanding of those instructions in a minute.